Alright, here we go. This is the final battle of my Bard Dancer combo. We're going to take a look at my final equipment and final stats before we go in. I have the Guardian Dagger on both characters, actually, because I'm going to spend the first part of the battle buffing. And here's a look at our stats. You see we're level 43. Fairly high level, but this party, I had to do some leveling earlier to get over a couple of roadblocks, and then they really blasted through a lot of random enemies as the game wore on. So during part one, it's going to be mostly buffing, so my Dancer is going to be just kind of hanging back, not doing a whole heck of a lot. We've got the Guardian Dagger to help block some attacks. The Dancer has the ribbon on, so she's just going to be chucking Phoenix Downs and Softs as my Bard is hit with the White Hole ability. He'll block it there, so very nice. I'm going to start with the hero song, and this will help defend on some of the white holes, but not very many. And this will increase our level. There we go. White hole either missed the Bard or it was targeted at the Dancer, and if it was targeted at the Dancer, she totally resists it because of her ribbon. Alright, so he was hit, but you notice that he was not actually knocked out of his singing status, as a normal physical attack certainly would. Their White Hole did get him. So we have to spend 2 actions with our Dancer to Soft, and then Phoenix Down. White Hole will always miss the Dancer, so we're totally safe there all the time. And during this first part of the battle, I'm just going to be using elixirs for healing. It's just faster, and I really won't need them once the second part of the battle has begun. So it'll take me a couple of rounds to get back, and now here I have White Hole again. So that is going to be kind of the bee in my bonnet during this first part of the battle, is keeping the Bard alive and keeping him singing to get us buffed, because every time White Hole is targeted there, it's going to hit quite often on him, unfortunately. So if Exdeath gets really happy on the white holes, could really hurt us. Alright, so now we're back to buffing. And I have to hope that he can resist the White Hole. Alright, there we go. For a couple of rounds. This will just help get a few more levels picked up. Levels seem to max out at 99 based on my observations. So I'll know I'm at max levels when the Dancer starts healing about 128, I believe is what it is. There's another White Hole. And so far, based on my testing, we're getting about average luck with the White Holes. About average luck with White Holes. This is going to reset the regen on him. I'm going to throw another high potion at him. That'll help him survive a physical attack, and that's what I'm hoping Exdeath sticks with, is the physical attacks, because they're certainly much easier to heal away than having the Dancer spend 2 full actions on a Soft and a Phoenix Down. So let's hope that he goes with physical attacks or White Holes targeted at the Dancer. And yeah, normally a physical attack will knock him out of singing status. In fact, I'm going to have to do that with the Dancer once we're fully buffed. But Exdeath Part 1's attacks, for some reason unknown to me, do not seem to knock a singing Bard out of singing status. So you saw that he was hit with that attack there, and he is still singing away. But that actually helps us during this part of the battle, because it reduces the need to have to repeatedly go into singing status. So I think we're maxed out 129. If we see that pop up again, then we'll know, yeah, 129 is the max. So what we'll do now is briefly switch over to a weapon that cannot damage our bard, but will sufficiently knock him out of singing status. We'll go back to the Guardian, and we'll go ahead and high potion up. All right, and now that we are fully hero songed up, I'm going to go for the power song to get the dancer's strength all the way up. And then I am going to do the magic song because the bard is going to be using the harp in the second phase of this battle. I'm not doing the agility song just yet because that does, in my limited observation, does not seem to actually speed up the buffing process, nor does it seem to speed up the regen heal rate. And all it does for this part of the battle is just force me to use defend commands that much more often with the dancer. And that's just based on a limited amount of testing. More testing needs to be done to confirm that. But a lot of reports on the internet do suggest that it does speed up the buffing process, but I'm not convinced after a little bit of looking. It would stand to reason that it would, and that it should, but I'm not convinced that it actually does, based on what I've seen. Maybe in another video or in another written report I can communicate that a little bit better, once I have a better understanding of it. Oops, not Vitality Song. We're back to Power Song. Now hopefully we can get through a few rounds. That's good, because again, that does not knock him out of singing status. But yeah, having maxed out agility is going to be very important for the phase of the battle where we go on the offensive. But it does not seem to speed things up here. Alright, good. We've gotten a few favorable actions from Exdeath in a row, thankfully. And I'm able to get defended again after using that high potion because of that speed. Now, the speed would help us in getting him revived more quickly between actions and getting him singing again more quickly, because the dancer would just get many turns right in a row and could fully heal him up. And we could do all of this healing and have a few rounds before Exdeath had another chance to attack, but it still does not seem that, in real time especially, that the buffing happens any more quickly. Levels and stats seem to jump 3 or 4 at a time when you are in the slower speed here before you're buffed, and they seem to go up 1 at a time when you've been fully speed buffed. That's my limited observation when I was watching the ROM addresses. The white hole. Now the bard will resist some of the white holes with his level at 99 as it is, but without the ability to get his level up to 255 as we would with the... That's just a regular death. Without the ability to get up to 255, we really won't be able to get it to where we can resist it at a reliable rate, because White Hole does have a very high accuracy. It's in the 90s. I think it might even be 99. Alright, so we'll do a few more rounds of Power Song, and then I'll switch over to Magic Song. Because again, I will be doing some magical damage, particularly with the Bard and the Harp weapon. That will be where a lot of his damage comes from. Thankfully, we dodged that white hole. Alright, thankfully the Guardian did pull out the block there. We haven't seen very many of those yet in this fight. We've had some unfortunate luck getting Guardian blocks. Now I'm going to test that our levels are high enough by doing a sword dance from the back row with the chicken knife on Ferris. And if she does pull out max damage, okay, then we're good. We have sufficient strength to go on. Oops, and let's go with the Guardian again. We have a little bit more buffing to do. Now the Magic Song, again, the harp damage, but also the Jitterbug duets from Ferris use the magic multiplier, so those I'm going to want to have buffed up as much as I can. And the key here is going to be quickly defeating the most dangerous parts of Neo Exdeath, particularly the Almagest piece, which could just about take us out in one casting. In fact, it probably would if it did fire an Almagest. And it will do that on its second round of action as it gets there. So we have to do 55,000 damage to that piece very quickly, which we will have no problem doing once both of these characters are fully buffed up. Also, the Bard character will be using the Magic Lamp to summon Bahamut and Leviathan, so those will do max damage if his magic stat is boosted up as well. The level will help him get there, but the higher magic stat will sweeten the deal considerably. Alright, there's White Hole missing. It's actually been a while since he's attempted a White Hole. And I will take those physical attacks anytime, because we can more than recover from those with one high potion and a couple of regen heals. And I want to stay away from attacking the Bard with even the Guardian Dagger here, because with her high attack multiplier from her level and the Power Song, she would actually do pretty significant damage to the Bard if she took a swing at him with that. So I have to use the knife, because the knife is not able to overcome his defense, so no matter how many multipliers it gets, it's going to be 0 multiplied by Ferris's massive multiplier, which even in the back row is pretty significant, as you saw with Sword Dance in the back row being as meaty as it was. Alright, I think I'm going to go with Speed Song from here. And as soon as Speed Song has us fully sped up, I think it's time to go on the offensive, now that we're this far in. Nice block. That would have set me back just a little bit on my healing, had that landed. Alright. So again, this is a little bit novel compared to standard strats as of right now, where we would have started with Speed Song, but based on some testing, I believe that this is the best course of action for now, getting the Hero Song up to resist a white hole or two. And Speed Song does not seem, in my observation, to speed up the buffing very much, if at all. We still don't have that confirmed. That's just based on some testing. You can see already our ATB bars are getting shorter between actions. It doesn't take very long, especially with us having the haste shoes on. It does not take very long before we start getting actions extremely quickly, and now this just necessitates defending that much more often with Ferris, because I do always want her defending, and not just waiting with her menu up, because it will have the damage if she gets attacked, but if she's just standing there with the menu up. See there, Ferris had 4 actions between regen heals, and that's many more than you would normally get between regen heals. Alright, I think we are fully buffed and ready to go on the offensive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait for him to attack. And as soon as he attacks, I'm going to start going crazy in attacking with Ferris. So as soon as he does an ability, I'm just going to start laying into him. I have done 999 already with him that I did in the early phase of this fight. So that's 20,000 of them gone, and I want to try to maximize the damage I can put out to him before he gets off a casting of something silly like Meteo. So I'm going to get with the Apollo Harp, and that can target him, and look at the nice damage that it does. And even Jitterbug Duet's doing nice damage from the safety of the back row. Now his routine is going to be very dangerous here if I don't get a few more sword dances in a row. It's actually going to be, we're going to risk getting a Meteo, which actually could end this attempt right away. You see the Harp does have a chance to miss. I need to pull off maybe one more sword dance. Okay, never mind. Did not need the extra sword dance. And on we go to Neo Exdeath. So, with our strength and speed cranked up as much as they are, Ferris should be able to deliver all the power that's going to be necessary to the Almagest piece from the safety of the back row. Bing the Bard will simply take his first 2 actions, casting from the Magic Lamp. Bahamut and Leviathan should both do very close to max damage to all 4 pieces of Exdeath. Once the Almagest piece has been neutralized, I will go after the Grand Cross piece, and even with that, we should be able to get the Grand Cross piece before it's able to fire off its first Grand Cross. At that point, we'll switch over to the physical piece, and as soon as the physical piece eats it, we will use Odin from the Magic Lamp to take out the final back part of Exdeath, the classic strategy that I like to do. I like to leave the magic casting part alive until the very end. Its attacks are easier to deal with, depending on your party configuration, of course. Alright, this is the Almagest piece. We're going to hope for sword dances here. There's my Magic Lamp. And this should do close to max damage again to all 4 pieces, but the piece I'm really concerned about is that bottom piece. There we go. That's the Almagest piece. It did 9996 to the Almagest piece. There's 9999. We have one more casting of the Magic Lamp. This one will do a little bit less damage than Bahamut, so maybe in the 8,000 range. Yeah, 7980. Mystery Waltz is the least favorable of the skills that we want to draw from the dancer. I'm going to be listening for the Almagest piece to die here. Okay, Almagest piece is dead. There's a physical attack from the front part, or possibly from the back part. This is the Grand Cross piece. It's classified as Dragon type in the code, so the Apollo Harp will deliver a critical hit to it. So it should die in about 3 or 4 attacks. Alright, there's arrow 3. Okay, and there's it's threatening to use Grand Cross. I don't think it's going to get there. I'm going to heal just so that she doesn't get nerfed out. Alright, there's the Grand Cross piece down. And as you can see, the Jitterbug duets really help a lot when your magic is buffed up that much. And this should just take a couple of sword dances. But the Jitterbugs really help heal great amounts of damage when they roll. I'm going to wait until the dance fires. See what happens. Okay, Dispel actually does nothing. Alright, this might do it. That did it. Very good. And this magic lamp shot will take it out. That's the back piece done. That's the one that you saw cast arrow 3 at me earlier. That back piece is, again, not super threatening. It doesn't act very quickly, and its attacks are a little bit more manageable than some of the other things like Almagest can be. But that was it. That was Exdeath and Neo Exdeath. And that brings our White Christmas special variant run to a close. I had a good time with this one. Again, the early game had some tricky spots, mostly relied on the dancer rolling up sword dance for some of the early game bosses, and the bard was really quite underpowered and mostly useless for a good chunk of World 1, again, of course, until you started being able to pick up songs and bard equipment. But once this party was fully powered up and fully equipped, it really was a breeze towards the end there. And the level that they finished the game at, I know, is higher than you would normally think with a lot of parties. But some of that was from the early game, and a lot of that was just me not running from a lot of battles in the end game because they were simply easy to blast through. The ending is kind of glitching out on me. All that text is disappearing on me. But yeah, so in the end game, it was almost easier to just fight every fight because they could be ended so quickly. Where a lot of times in the last chapter of the game, I'll be running from most battles because enemies have too many hit points. These ones just were very easy to go through. Exdeath's Castle in World 2 was another kind of fun spot to fight battles, and I picked up a few levels there. With the Charm song, it was kind of fun to watch enemies cast Break and Death on themselves, and as the same has happened here in the late game. So still some research to do about bard songs and their the stat boost rate and things like the regen rate and all of that. I want to make sure that I understand those fully before we move on too far from this, but a little bit more testing is required. But I did want to make this video so I could finish the piece for it before Christmas time is upon us and we can look to the new year and some new variant runs. So I'm going to leave it right there for now. Hope to see you again in another video very soon.